Hey everybody, I'm your host, Coach Martin. Super excited about today's podcast. Today the topic is going to be 3 rules to keep you from losing money. So this is a special one, and I kind of want to start with a disclaimer. So if you are a big college football fan, or if you are a Colorado football fan, or if you are a Shedeur Sanders fan, listen, this isn't about getting offended. There's a great lesson to be learned. I believe there's lessons to be learned in almost anything that we do. But there's a great lesson to be learned in this story. And ultimately, if we learn these lessons, it's going to keep us from losing money in 3 specific areas, right? So let's just jump into it. So myself, I'm a huge football fan. I think my sports go like this. It's football, then it's hockey, but there's a big gap. I love football. One of the things I look forward to every single day, not only the preseason and then, the first game, but I look forward to the draft. I'm a big draft guy. I love to, I do the same routine. I order a couple big pizzas. I know for a couple of days I'm having pizza. I'm sitting on my lazy boy and I'm watching the draft, and I'm hoping that we pick some great players for my team. Now, in this particular situation, everyone that likes football for the most part, they pretty much, they go on the internet, weeks before, months before. They go in and they start looking at projected picks. So we go and we take a look at what the experts say, who's going to go in round 1, round 2, round 3. Now, regarding Sanders, it was anywhere from him being number 1, number 2 pick in the draft all the way to 5, 6, or 7. Roughly for months, it was about right there. Now, right before the draft, there was a couple places where people were saying, well, maybe number 20, 21, maybe to Pittsburgh. But for the most part, it was number 2 pick to number 5 pick. Now, what happened was, if you look at how the actual draft works, and I did the numbers. Normally, if you're drafted in those first 5 picks, you're going to end up making about $40 million guaranteed. Now, it could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but pretty much you're going to be guaranteed you're going to make $40 million. We know that in this draft, he got drafted in the 5th round, where typically you're guaranteed you're going to make about $4 million. So instead of his projection coming true and him making a guaranteed 40 mil, he's now going to make 4 mil, and he's got to make the team. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, Coach, I don't even understand that because everyone has to make the team. Yes, but there's 5 quarterbacks ahead of him. It's going to be a hard road. Now, there's some good learning lessons in this, and I want you to pay attention because this is going to help us with our business. The mistakes that he made, in my opinion, we want to make sure that we don't make these in our business. Now, a couple things I want to bring up. I wrote them down. 1, he either skipped or was limited in a couple areas like the All-Star game and the Combine, right? So he skipped those, right? Or he was limited in those. And I'm going to just kind of give you a second piece real quick before I jump into it. He refused to visit certain teams, potential customers. So I just want you to kind of put those on the shelf right now, as these are very, very important pieces. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, Coach, you said you were going to give me 3 things. I am going to give you 3 things. Okay, I'm going to start with number 1, right? Number 1, you cannot skip exposure. So as a business owner, you can't skip an opportunity to expose yourself to a potential client. You can't say, well, I don't want to, fill in the blank. Now, in football, how it works is, every team is allowed to have in-person visits with only 30 people. So owner is going to have to take a look at our needs and who are the 30 people we're going to bring in the interview. In his case, there were some teams where he didn't go visit. That's mistake number 1. You cannot skip exposure. You got to make sure that your brand, your business, your product, service, or idea is getting put out there to the world. There's a lot of ways you can do that, but you got to make sure that you do that. You should be doing that day after day after day after day. Do not skip exposure. Okay, number 2, you must visit places where your customers are. So wherever your customers are, you need to be there. I would even encourage you to greenlight a session where you get a board and you just start writing down. Don't even overly think it. Every place that your customer's at. So let's say if you have a product, if you have a service, whatever the case is, where are those customers at that would purchase your product or service? And just write it down, right? 1, we know that they're probably on social media. Write it down. One, maybe they're on, maybe they're in specific groups. Maybe they meet here. Maybe they go here every year. Write all those places down and figure out how can you make sure that you're in those spaces as well, right? So make sure that you're visiting the places where your customers are. Very, very, very important. Now, number 3. Now, in my opinion, if you don't do 3 right, 1 and 2 ain't going to matter. You have to surround yourself by wise counsel. In my opinion, going back on this side, instead of Sanders hiring an agent, a professional who does this every year for a living, he skipped and bypassed that, and he hired his dad, or his dad represented them. Now, I get it. And I don't want to hear the phone calls and the emails and the complaints. I get it. Our parents love us. It's their job. It's what they're supposed to do. But in this particular case, it didn't serve him. So you want to make sure that you always have wise counsel around you. Always. Especially as a business owner, right? Take advice and listen and ask for advice from people that are business owners that are doing what you're trying to accomplish. And I would even encourage you to surround yourself with people that know more than you know. So if you're in a room and you're the smartest one in the room, there's a problem with that room. You want to make sure that you have people that are smarter than you in the room so you can learn from. Now, there may be people that don't know what you know, or maybe they're not at a level yet business-wise where you are, and that's great because we should be pouring into people and helping them. But if you're only pouring into people and you're not being poured into, right, you're going to go stagnant. It's kind of like I always think of the visual when you get on an airplane and you're getting ready to take off, and the flight attendant goes through the whole deal. What do they say? In case of decrease in cabin pressure, the mask's going to drop. But first, before you help somebody else, put the mask on yourself. It's the same way in business, right? You got to make sure that you're helping yourself, because if you're not being poured into and you're not learning, how can you teach somebody else? So surround yourself with wise counsel. And I'm going to even throw one other thing on this, because I believe in this so much, personal development. I want to encourage you, if you haven't done this already, find a mastermind group in your area that you can be part of. So I promise you, wherever you live, there's going to be mastermind groups in your area. So at the very least, find a mastermind group in your area and become a part of. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, Coach, I already tried that. And it was filled with like an air conditioning guy and maybe a coaching guy, and they're not in my sector. Well, maybe they're not in your sector, but if the air conditioning guy has a $40 million a year business, you don't think there's nuggets that you can learn from that person? Of course. So find a mastermind group that you can be part of. Secondly, I would even encourage you to find a group, a convention, somewhere you can go to this year. Get it up on your calendar where you can go to with like-minded individuals where you can learn from them. But ultimately, for us to grow, right, it's got to be intentional. And you want to make sure that you surround yourself with wise counsel, because if you don't have wise counsel around you giving you sound advice, trust me when I tell you, number 1 and number 2, they are not going to matter. So number 1, again, you can't skip exposure. Number 2, make sure you are in your business, your product and your service are in places where your customers are. And number 3, we're going to wrap it up with the gold. You've got to surround yourself with wise counsel. Hope that helps you. Make sure you visit us on the web, share. And until next time, I'm Coach Martin. I'm out.